Welcome to Dark Horizon Creations. I'm Mike, and today we are beginning a new series on the Halo Spartan collection by Jazz Wares. And we're kicking things off with the Master Chief. He needs no introduction. He is the greatest hero in the history of video games everywhere. I actually did this review yesterday, and after I completed it and began the upload process to YouTube, I discovered a quality control issue with the figure, and I canceled the upload. I decided to redo the entire review because I wanted to incorporate that issue into it so that you guys were aware of it. And this morning when I woke up, I found a message from someone on Instagram who reminded me of a quality control issue that they had discovered, and I wanted to bring that to your attention as well. And this presents a really great opportunity to share something with all of you. Before I do a video review, I probably spend anywhere from 60 to 80 hours doing research on the character, their in-game history and things like that, or in-universe history, as well as conducting research on the product, the manufacturer. I look at other reviews that people have done to glean information from them to see if there's things that they got right, they got wrong. And, I provide you guys with a completely unbiased opinion and review each and every time. I'm not partial to any character, to any manufacturer or product. I'm going to tell you the truth whether you want to hear it or not. And in this review, some of you are going to hear some things that are probably going to upset you, and I'm not going to apologize for it because it's the truth. I'm just being real with you. I don't believe in getting on here and doing reviews to try to get attention or followers or please people. I don't do it for that purpose. I do it because I enjoy it, because I enjoy collecting toys, and it's just something I like. I have no stake in this. I have nothing to lose whatsoever. If my subscription drops down to 0 subscribers, so what? So I'm brutally honest when it comes to toy reviews and things like that, and product reviews. I'm going to tell you the truth. So here we have a figure that is at the very least controversial right now at this point with the collecting community, and I'm going to tell you guys why. I come into this being a huge fan and supporter of the Mattel Halo figures. I really loved what they did with those. I was among the first to receive an entire set of Series 1 as soon as they shipped. I was among the first to review those figures online. And, after speaking with a member of Mattel's leadership, they informed me that Series 2 would be dependent upon how successful Series 1 was. Well, they were successful because all the plans that they had for 3 moving forward, all of those got produced. The issues that we ran into with the Mattel figures were not in quality control. I know a lot of people complain about this or that or the other, like the armor sections, and the reality was they weren't snapping the armor on correctly. That's why they would have like the foot pad come loose or whatever. It wasn't the figure or the armor, it was the individual and what they were doing. The other issues they faced were distribution. And anytime you have a distribution problem with toys and things like that, it's not necessarily with the manufacturer, it's with the retailer that has purchased the product, because they only order a certain quantity, and they order that quantity based on projected sales. If the marketing team has no prior information for sales to go off of, then they're going to be extremely reserved in pushing new product out on the floor unless they have some insight that shows them it's just going to fly off of store shelves, particularly in the day and age in which we live now, post COVID-19. Okay, so distribution has to do with the retailer, not the manufacturer. That's always the case, because the retailers order the product before it's ever manufactured. Maybe you didn't know that, but you do now. And the entire process for manufacturing an action figure on a reserve scale is 18 months from concept to it hanging on a store shelf. In some cases, it's even longer, up to 3 years. So it really depends on, what the product is, what franchise it's coming from, but on the receiving end, as far as distribution and things like that, that's always an issue with the retailers. That's never the manufacturer. Because remember, the retailers put in, their bids and requests and things for the quantity that they want to sell. So we can't look at Mattel and say they screwed up with Halo, because they didn't. The other issue is the line itself just did not receive the support from the fan base and collector community. People wouldn't buy the figure because they griped and well, it didn't like McFarlane. Of course it isn't. It's a completely different brand. And I would say to those of you who are stuck on McFarlane, eBay's full of McFarlane figures if you don't like Mattel or you don't like Jazzwares. If you worship McFarlane, then why buy this product? But, don't lie. Don't make up stuff and gripe about it when there's nothing wrong with the product. So, once Jazzwares was awarded the master product license to Halo in 2019, they revealed their figures at Toy Fair in 2020 in a non-photo booth, but pictures still come out anyway. I was pleasantly surprised to see them offer 2 different scales. I was intrigued by that, but I was also cautiously optimistic. Once they started hitting store shelves at the beginning of the fall in 2020, I knew right away that they had gotten it right from the get-go. The smartest thing they could have done is exactly what they did. They created 2 different lines to appeal to 2 different groups of consumers. The World of Halo 4-inch scale is the figures and the vehicles and the playsets and things like that. And that's targeted just toward those individuals that want that, because they want the vehicles and other things that, are not cost effective to produce at a 6-inch scale. For the strictly collector community, you have the Spartan collection. 6-inch scale action figures, highly articulated and posable, what you see before you. So, addressing that, Jazzware has gotten it right out of the gate, and when we open the packaging, we're going to talk about the quality control issues, why they exist, how they can be remedied. The first thing that really strikes me about this figure is the packaging. Both the Spartan collection and the World of Halo collection have gotten that right. The logo banners and things like that, all that's around the perimeter of the window box. They've minimized that so that your focus is on the product. And that's awesome. And that's exactly what they should have done. And you can pick this up and see the figure from any angle. So if there's any exterior quality control issues, on a particular figure, you could leave it hanging on the shelf and get the next one. And I do that. I inspect my action figures before I buy them. I will not pick up a figure until I look at it and see what it looks like. And I usually buy 2. I buy 1 to keep and 1 to take out, or sometimes I buy multiple so I can customize them. But really great window box display. On the side, you've got a picture of the Master Chief, and down at the bottom, you've got the original UNSC logo. On the back, you've got your minimal obligatory product shots of the figure and then all the figures in that series. So, let's remove the figure. And let me adjust the camera angle here. The first thing you see is that mirrored visor. That is awesome. They've done a great job on that. You can also see the metallic sheen gleam off of his armor, where they've made it look like the armor's been scraped and weathered and things like that. That's really cool. I like the 117 up there on the chest plate. All the way around, this is an extremely detailed action figure. And it does have minimal paint apps. That's okay. If you like to collect and customize like I do, that gives you an opportunity to weather another action figure the way you want it. These figures have 30 points of articulation. His head is on a nice tight ball joint. His torso is on a nice tight ball joint. Now, previously in my review of Cat, her torso ball joint was extremely loose, so I popped it off, applied some Gorilla Glue that tightened it up. They have butterfly joints. Okay, you see here. Forward and lateral movement, rotation up here at the shoulder. Double jointed elbows. So you guys can see this. Now on mine, this elbow joint is kind of loose, but not so loose that it won't stay in position. Hands rotate and swivel. Forward, lateral movement at the thigh. That's nice tight joint. Rotate also. Double jointed knee. You have your ankle on a swivel joint and the toe pad, which will also move. So really articulated. On each thigh, you have this removable plate which you can spin around and then put back into place to attach a weapon to. What I found is that they don't stay, you know, if you're constantly moving around and taking pictures and stuff like that and taking the accessory off and on, they don't stay in place. So what I've opted to do, and the Master Chief is right-handed, I took this one out and glued it with Gorilla Glue and just put it back in place so that it will hold the weapon. And you get 2 weapon accessories. His MA-40 assault rifle. And you can see it's got a lot of detailing there. There's the selector switch on it. Nice detailing on the muzzle brake. Ejection port and stuff. But you also see that it's made out of that soft rubber. Now, it's not as bad as the World of Halo figures. You can see it's still bent because it should really be straight like this. It's just got a little bit of a bend right here. But it's not so bad that, you know, you're really going to notice it. And then an MK50 sidekick. It's got a lot of nice detailing as well. I don't know how I feel about this handgun yet because this is a 10mm handgun, whereas the M6 Magnum is a 50 cal. So it's not going to have the same knockdown power. Still a powerful handgun, but that's just my thoughts. So it's got a small port that will plug in there, and that's nice and tight to his thigh. And then on the back you've got a plug and then a port right there on the rifle. And that's a shallow port, so you have to push it in, make sure it's secure. But a really great action figure. And of course it includes 5 interchangeable hands to put them in different positions. Now, let's talk about quality control. I'm going to tell you the issue that I discovered as well as the one that my friend on Instagram wanted me to bring to your attention and tell you what the solution is to this. So while trying to put the figure in different poses last night, and that's nice solid plastic for his hand to put it into a grip. Here's what I discovered. That's how easy the hand pops out. And what I was trying to do was put him in a 2-handed grip with the sidekick pistol when it came out. So the issue is not necessarily that it's just so loose that it falls out. But if you look at the stem there attached to the hand, that should really have an enlarged area on the end, shaped like a ball, like you see on the some of the Marvel figures and Star Wars figures when they do that. So that when you push it into the forearm, it kind of clicks into place. And what happens is, when the surface area on this stem is enlarged, it's just slightly larger than the port for it to go into, which keeps the hand loose, but it won't come out, not without pressure applied to it. That's the issue that I found. Now, when I was reviewing the cat figure, I didn't have that problem with her. For whatever reason, they wouldn't just fall out like that. I've had that issue with this Master Chief figure. And it could be that this is a batch that didn't meet their quality control standards and slipped through. That often happens. Okay? So it's possible. It's just a one-off situation. You know, not something we're going to see persistent. The issue that the guy on Instagram wanted me to bring to your attention is loose joints. I know I've seen people talk about arms coming out of place or their joints being real loose. I don't have that issue. And you can see that right here. You know, for one thing, with the arm joints, they have to be able to flex inside of the joint, you know, and that may be what some people are referring to. Some people may just have a one-off. So how do you deal with that? If you go to Jazzware's website, there is a contact section where you provide all of your contact information, the product that you purchased, as well as this number right here, which is the lot number that's printed on the box. So unlike other companies like Hasbro, this isn't hidden. It's put in plain sight for you to see. Okay? So Jazzware is the parent company for Wicked Cool Toys. On there, you're going to put in that lot number, and it's going to give you a space to describe what the issue is. It's also going to give you a button that you can press to attach a file, such as a photo. You want to do that. You know, use external lighting sources like I do for my videos or whatever. Take a clear photo of the figure along with whatever part you're having a problem with, if his arm fell off, so that they can clearly see all the joints, all the pieces involved with that, and send that in. Now, I don't know how many requests they get, how many emails they get, how often they look at those emails, but I promise you, once they see it, they are going to respond to it. It may be a situation where they ask to see the receipt where you purchased it, and they send out a replacement. I don't know. I don't know how they're going to handle that. What I can tell you is they can't address the quality control issues if they do not hear from the consumer. I did the exact same thing with the hand joints last night. I emailed them, not because I want a free action figure, because I don't. There's nothing wrong with the figure. I wanted to make them aware of the quality control issue with the hands so that they can address that at the factory level. You know, so that this doesn't continue on with subsequent lines and that impact their sales of the product. So without hearing from the consumer, there's no way for them to know what's wrong. Looking at this action figure out of the packaging, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. I do not have loose joints on this figure. His arms are not falling off. You know, it's a great action figure. And, you know, in my personal opinion, these are probably the best Halo figures we have seen yet. You know, not only are they articulated, they're posable, they will stand up. You know, McFarlane figures were horrible trying to pose. You know, they've taken the best of both worlds that we got from McFarlane and Mattel, and they've put their own spin on it, and they've done a phenomenal job. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have the Spartan Collection Master Chief from Series 1. Hope you guys have enjoyed the review. Don't forget to follow, like, and subscribe my social media on Facebook, Instagram, and my YouTube channel. We're up to more than 250 subscribers on YouTube. Really appreciate the support. It's always interesting to interact with people from around the world, from different walks of life, and share our passion of all things fantasy and science fiction. Stay tuned. There's more to come.